you're looking for more of the business side of music,
Right.
for example, wanting to be an entertainment lawyer or a music manager, are there specific types of business or law degrees that you should get that help you more in those fields?
That's a really good question. I'm glad you brought that up. That's a great question. People that are in the music business, they have music attorneys. They have people that only practice music business law. Very important. I don't know quite that much about that end of it, but I do know this. They're among the people that are the most valuable to musicians. You have to have, I think my mom has 3 different lawyers that do nothing but just music law. And the reason for that is because there's different segments. One of them just works on royalties. That's all he does. He never goes to court, never goes to trial. He just fixes royalties so that we get royalties on the music that we make. Another one handles different things, like for example, trademark infractions. Like if somebody decides they're going to go into the t-shirt business and they want to use my brother's face, but they don't want to pay us any money. One lawyer just does that stuff. So I can't tell you about that, but I could tell you that probably any of the colleges around here, their law department could probably advise you which are the real prestigious schools for that. I would imagine UCLA for sure. And then there's law schools too. And I'm sure there's a division that deals with that.
What about different types of business degrees if you wanted to go into the management side or even being an agent?
Usually the people that are the real successful managers, they're not actually attorneys. What they are is they're people that are really, really good at handling talent. They either used to have clubs, they used to own clubs, or they actually used to be in a band themselves for a while. Or what happens is they're people that are real managers, if they're successful, are real well connected. Extremely well connected. They get on the phone, they want something, they call somebody, and if he can't make that happen, he calls someone else, and then it just goes boom, 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 and lights up. It's amazing.
So there's no type of degrees you could recommend?
To be a manager, no. I mean, it would be really good to have a business degree and to know something about finance.
Okay.
But actually, the most successful managers that I've ever met, they're people that they started off liking music. Maybe they weren't in the band, but they organized concerts, they promoted concerts, they made friends with the musicians, and after a while, they take a shot, they manage a band, and if it works, then they build it up. Yes?
What do you suggest for people who move like Michigan that's like not as popular in music?
Well, there's some instruments that we can't get enough of. I know that you people, especially you, are probably up to here with guitar players and bass players and drummers, and you probably run into them all the time. But there's some instruments that we need immediately. For example, if you play viola, you can get a job. You can get a job really, really, really quick. About what?
Cello.
Cello is a beautiful instrument and it's very much in demand. Did you know that cello is the instrument that comes closest to approximating a human voice and emotions? Cello is very much in demand. I've used cello for my recordings, and you shouldn't have any problem at all if you play that instrument. It's a very beautiful instrument. It's kind of hard to be first chair if you're an orchestra. To be a cellist, you really have to be magnificent. But they have other cellists too. You shouldn't have a problem with that instrument if you're good. How are we doing for time? Edward, are we good?
About 5 more minutes.
Okay. Any other questions or anything like that? Any other comments? No? We're good?
Do you want to share a little bit about your family background?
Yeah, I do. Thank you.
I had to ask.
I come from a real long line of musicians, and it goes back almost 200 years. I think my great grandfather was in a brass band, I'm pretty sure. And before that, I don't know. Maybe like drums like that on the boat coming over from wherever we came. But that led eventually down the line to my mother being born in 1920. And she was very fortunate. She got to study with 2 people that were direct links to the halcyon years of classical music. She studied with Herbert Clark, who was John Philip Sousa's first cornetist. John Philip Sousa wrote patriotic songs like the Stars and Stripes Forever, the Washington Post March. As a child, she got to study with him. As a college student, she got to study with Schoenberg. And Schoenberg is considered the last of the truly great old-time composers. Some of his music is a little bit hard to listen to. It's a little strange, but nevertheless, he's one of the greats. So in 1948, at the age of 28 years old, she decided that she would start her own conservatory of music with two other partners. This is a private music school that still exists today, and it gives private music lessons. 62 years later, we're still in business, and we still give music lessons, and we still work one-on-one with people. Some very, very interesting people have come through that school in all these years. Really, really top-notch people. My brother and I, who are like the leaves on the tree, we're not the roots or the trunk or anything, we're like the last generation of Rhoads people to make music. He's considered by many to be the greatest guitar player that ever lived. He's still, all these years after his death, he's still in magazines all the time. He's the subject of a documentary. He's the subject of a documentary that's going on in Japan. And his career is just, it's phenomenal. It really is. It's just phenomenal. I compose classical music. My sister, I also have a sister, and she actually went a little bit different way. She was artistic, and she actually ended up having her own vineyards, and she makes wine. She played guitar at first, then decided she'd had enough, and she got married, had a family. And now she has her own wine company. So we've been at this a while. In fact, there's a movie that exists that was made in 1951, and it's called People Will Talk. It's with Jeannie Crane. I know you don't know who she is. Cary Grant. You should know who he is. And my mom's the French horn player. And there's something interesting about her. She's pretty visibly pregnant. And that's with me. And you can see it in the movie.